The station's concourse bustled with a diversity that felt otherwise fabricated. For a moment, I completely forgot the tiny alien beside me as he stared with what my mind now knew was a pleased look. The translation nanites were way more wondrous than anything I could imagine. One prick on the back of your neck, and what looked like the most terrifying Friday night of your life became a nice conversation with a foreign exchange student, the weirdest one I've ever met. Blarsa la maglakvul, Glestol Jake, Willow said. I heard his strange tongue and immediately knew what he meant, not as in having it translated, nor as knowing his language. I just knew the meaning in my brain. My response came fluid. Okay, Willow, don't worry. I'll make some new friends in the meantime. Glestol, Irlat je Erglat, Irlat la Chalavlek, Erglat la Chalavlek, Blarcha Blarchavel, Willow said, addressing me as a friend. I'm not hungry, friend. Thank you, I replied in kind. The alien had gone, leaving me at the colossal station concourse. A huge variety of aliens walked around, looking at windows and chilling between spaces around a grid of pathways, dotted by what I believed to be small stores and places of business. The whole space was very neatly organized and standardized. For a split second, my eyes focused on something. The creature looked exactly like a raccoon. It's a freaking raccoon, I blurted out, before realizing I was being translated directly to the alien. Sorry, feller. I meant it as a compliment. The raccoon creature didn't flinch, not even moving its gaze. Hey, no need to be rude. Nothing. Okay, then. The creature had already departed. Walking around, I tried other creatures. No response. It looked like not all aliens were as friendly as Willow. A drawn-out chime emanated from the left, back toward the general direction where Willow had warned there would be food soon. The sound prompted a flurry of activity, and most of the creatures around me flocked towards that side of the concourse. Amidst the movement, I could have sworn I glimpsed a tiger, although, by that point, encountering a feline-like alien wouldn't have surprised me. Back when I was abducted, maybe a week ago, a 3-foot-tall talking thumb was the weirdest thing I had seen in my life. Now, let's say my tolerance for the weird has improved. Still, Willow was the friendliest alien I had met so far. Oye, agarra! I heard crystal clear behind me. Spanish, not translated, just Spanish. I didn't speak Spanish, and even if I did, I was too stunned to process the brown and beige bun coming straight at my chest, only to plop sadly on the ground, not losing any cohesion. Mucho gusto, soy Mauricio. The man stopped in front of me, bun between us. Huh, what? I understood what he meant but was still shocked. Ah, American, yes? He switched to English. Yes. I'm Mauricio. Pleased to meet you. Are you from Earth? Well, I don't know any other planet where people speak Spanish, see? You thought you were the only human, and so did I. But I have a theory. Well, I'll explain it to you. You should take the burger brick and eat, he urged. Burger brick? Yes, it's designed to resemble a cheeseburger, but it's just a solid brick. You can eat food that fell on the floor here, it's safe, and you don't have many options. Mauricio nudged at the food. I'm not hungry, plus Willow said he'll be back soon. Willow, huh? Mine was called Daisy. Looked like an index finger for some reason. But he won't be back, Mauricio stated, looking crestfallen. I've been in this enclosure for the past month, I think. The alien never returned. But, Enclosure? Enclosure? My mind raced. What did Willow say this was? Mauricio did the finger quotes, nothing. He just said he'd be back and where I could find water and food eventually. Did he call you friend? Mauricio asked with suspicion. Yes. Something slowly began to dawn on me. Oh boy, you should eat. Mauricio emphasized, I ate. Mauricio told me about his theory. We were abducted to what was essentially an ark, where the finger-looking aliens kept their zoo and research subjects. Most species came in pairs in the huge enclosure, as he liked to call it, the big maze of paths and low building I recognized as a station concourse. Some exotic species came in threes or fours. None of the other creatures talked to us, either because they couldn't, or the translator nanites only worked in single-race pairs. No thumb people were around. The food was plentiful, but appalling. The brick food, as Mauricio named it, came sparingly during the day. They were like the blandest versions of whatever dish they tried to emulate, and they were solid, with no separation between ingredients. It felt like they were made by someone who knew exactly the nutrients a human being needed to be alive and healthy, but had no taste buds or the concept of taste or smell. Once the chiming began, dispensers through the sides of the pen would dispense as much food and exactly the right type of food for that species. The food was so incredibly bland that I raised the idea, if we were in an ark, maybe some animal would be edible. The thought immediately rewarded me with the splitting headache of a lifetime. Mauricio looked at me wide-eyed and came to my rescue. Breathe. In, out. Think of coconuts, flowers, oranges, lemons, a good piña colada, a peaceful sunset at the beach. Yes. Don't go having a stroke on me, man. Mauricio came to my rescue. What was that? I yelled. You were thinking about having a barbecue with some of our friends here, right? Mauricio said. Yes. How do you know that? I asked, my head still throbbing. I think it's part of the non-aggression field, Mauricio stated, as though it were the most obvious conclusion. Oh, it makes sense. I'll have no aggression left if my head splits open, I remarked as the pain subsided. Yes, it does make sense. There are predators here. I saw a jaguar. A freaking jaguar, cabron, Mauricio said excitedly. Ah, yes, I think I've seen a tiger and some ostriches, too. I recalled some other species, but let it go. Can you imagine what those weird alien things are? And nothing even tries eating other creatures here, not even lashing out at each other. I think the splitting headache is like the strong stuff. But there's something toning down the aggression on all these creatures so well that they don't even think about attacking, Mauricio concluded, his tone filled with wonder and speculation. Well, it makes sense. It's just like the way nothing has a need to poop or pee here. Dude, if you need to go, you can go. The floor just sucks it in and self-cleans. How long have you been here? Mauricio was puzzled. I think I'm going to be sick. Just throw up on the floor. You'll see, it cleans itself, he said, his smile barely contained. It had been over a week, at least, given our sleep cycles here, unless something was messing with that too. I missed baths, but didn't feel dirty, and we learned pretty fast that the stores were more like habitats, with bedding of several types, none of which looked exactly like something a human or an earth creature would make. We tended to sleep on some fluffy nest-type thing, but sometimes other creatures would already have taken the bed we'd used previously. There was no point in creating conflicts, it was impossible, and there was plenty of space and beds. The bedding, no matter the type, was always clean. No organic material stuck for long. I took to observing a large bed that was used by what I could only describe as a 3-meter-long feathery centipede dog, and watched as the little feathers were broken down and sucked in by the bed itself. That was probably the reason I wasn't reeking, and my clothes weren't stiff from dirt. As we settled down, I got to know a bit about Mauricio and shared a bit about myself. The company kept me from despairing, and while our captivity was not filled with suffering, the bland food and being isolated in the middle of thousands of aliens that, in essence, were irrational animals, took a fair toll on our minds.